Welcome to my video today. Thank you for being a Patreon member, and I am excited to show you what we're doing. We have wheat here. We call this Christmas tree wheat because at the bottom we have these branches that are coming off the bottom right here. And that is fantastic. We want to keep those genetics. So I've been thrashing it out here, which means separating the ear. We can call this an ear or a head. In ancient times, they called this an ear, and in more modern times, we call this a head of wheat. Now, some of them, they don't have the branches on the bottom, so I have several here that don't have branches. The genetics we want are the ones that have the branches coming out, right here. But I don't have very much. I only had about 15 of these that were branching out, and most of them I've already started to grow here, like thrash out here. So we want to have more wheat than that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant a few more of these nicer biggest heads that we have. So we are keeping all of these ones and more of these. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to just take this and we'll just crush it with our hands like this. Now, if you were doing a big bunch, you'd need a machine, but I'm only doing about 25, 30 heads here. And one just went flipping away, which is sad. And so we're just crushing this up real good to get the grain out. So I'm going to keep this one in my hand real quick. And then we'll show you the kernels. So if we move the top off, we have the seeds underneath, and some of them are still in their holes there. But we can just move the top off. And then blow on it a little bit. That'll remove the chaff. So there are some seeds right there. And they look okay. They're not perfect and as big as they ought to be, but we'll get some crops growing and do good. These grew last year. They had a little bit of irrigation, but not a lot. Last year was one of the worst droughts we've had, so we're lucky to get a seed crop, but we certainly did get a seed crop. So let's crush these two up. And this should be enough. I want to plant a couple of plug trays of this. I want to have about 400 of these to plant outside. And we'll probably one seed in each one. So I have different sizes of screens here. And this is just a sieve that came off of Amazon. So here it is. This is what it looks like. And so I'm just going to dump all of this in there. And I picked a size here that will let the grain through, but it won't let the big chaff through. And the big chaff, I'm calling this chaff here. And a lot of these still have grain in them. So as I see these that don't have the seeds out yet, I just need to keep crushing them. Now, if you were actually doing this to get enough to eat, the way I'm doing it right now, it seems like it's going to burn more calories than the food I would get out of this. That's why people invented machines. It's because doing this by hand, it's all you would do all day long, is just prepare food. Thank goodness for the Industrial Revolution. So most of that, let's just feel this. So that one has a seed in it. Some of those have seed in it. Now, as far as seed goes, if we want the ones that loosen easy, we wouldn't want to work hard to get all of these out, because if the seed is still inside these ones that are holding it real tight, then we will be breeding for genetics that holds on to that. So we can take this and go ahead and just throw it away. So this would go into a compost, or it would go to feed chickens or something like that. So let's just put that. Those went over there. And now I put this plastic bag here so that I can pick it up easier. Like that. So now I'm going to grab, I need one more container. I guess I wasn't prepared to start the video yet. Alright, this will work. There we go. So there's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade out, and I'm going to get a smaller mesh size. So if we look at our meshes here, that's a huge big one. That one's bigger. That might be my biggest one. That one is bigger. That one's huge. And there's that one. And there's that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think I'll put that one back in right now for just a second. And then we will. I just won't work it through as much. So we have the same mesh size in there. So I'm just going to carefully go like that. Okay, now I'm going to stop. And so this will go to the chickens. And it got a lot of the big stuff out. Okay, now I'm going to bring this one out. And I'm going to put a smaller one in that will get the... No, this one's small enough that the seeds won't go through it. Okay, so now we're going to be keeping the seeds. So we'll set that aside. Bring our other bag in here. Set that down. So now all the little chaff will go through. Everything that's smaller than the seed we want to keep will go through. Okay, so let's look underneath. Do we have seeds coming through? There are a couple of seeds getting through. But a lot of seeds are not going through. So I need to go one size smaller so that I keep all of my seeds. Unless I wanted my small seeds to go through. But I think these are still good, viable seeds that are going to grow. But my big seeds are still up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go one size smaller right here. Now hopefully none of my seeds will go through this one. So we'll remove this for a second. Put this one back down. And voila! Okay, now hopefully all the small chaff goes through but no seeds. Let's look and see. Oh, there's one seed here. There's a spider right there. Which has nothing to do with this. It's just funny. Okay. So that's good. So lots of little stuff is going through. And I could even take some of this right here. And I could crush it a little bit more. This stuff is sharp. If you don't have calloused hands, it'll poke you and hurt you. Okay, so do this a lot. Okay, that looks fantastic. So now all of this will go to the chickens. Because there were no seeds in there. So let's get this ready again. And now let's go with something that will catch these guys, but not those seeds. We want all the seeds to go through. So So I'm kind of back to where I started. This is the one that caught a lot of seeds, but a lot of seeds went through. So that is not that helpful for me. So I think this is the one I want right here. So I'm just going to gently put all the seeds on top of there. Go ahead and set this in there so we have some sides to it. Now I'm going to be very careful. I'm just going to go tap, tap, tap until... But if I tap this a lot of these holes will go through. But I don't see any more seeds in this. There's one right there. But most of this looks like it's just a couple of seeds there. Most of this looks like it's all holes. So I'll feed that to the chickens. But we can see how it's getting a lot better. Now if we turn the fan on, I'm going to bring the fan over. And we're going to blow this with the fan like that. Got to get it plugged in. Okay, now we have to be very careful because if we blow this, and we do this wrong, it'll blow the seeds away. That didn't work. I'm just going to use my mouth. And we want to do this very carefully because what's going to happen is the wheat berries, the grains in here are heavier than the chaff, and so we're going to blow away the chaff, but we want to leave the wheat, the seed itself. If you blow too hard, then the seeds go away. Wiggle that a little bit. Get the seeds on top. In our world of machines, it's amazing to think that all the work people had to go through in the old days to get some food. I mean, that isn't even a quarter of a cup of food. So imagine if you were preparing this for flour. It takes a lot of work. All right, it's looking good. So I'm gonna move this to the side real quick over here, and then we'll put this down. We get our fan going full blast. I don't even know if this fan works. There's hardly any air coming out of this fan. Maybe it's a piece of junk, but we can try. We can try to lift this up. So now I'm gonna dump these seeds here. I'm going to dump it down, and we'll see if the chaff blows away. That was an epic fail. I mean, I can feel air coming out of that fan, but I'm not set up right to do it. But anyway, to plant the seeds, now I can see my seeds and I can get them planted today. So hopefully this helps you to have something better than a piece of junk fan that doesn't work.